Welcome to a brand new episode of the Jampack Report today for June the 15th of 2020. Of course, my name is Samuel Adams, and this is a daily gaming news podcast meant to bring you the hottest news you need to know from around the industry. Hosted on YouTube and podcast services around the world 5 days a week, it is your one-stop shop for everything you need to know in the beautiful world of gaming, which has been very exciting as of late. Of course, last week was very intense with the PlayStation 5 reveal event, and it turns out that event got a lot of eyeballs on it, because it's generated more video views than PlayStation's last E3 and the PS4's reveal itself. As of Monday, PS5 reveal event videos have amassed more than 80 million combined views, which is double PlayStation 4's first E3, sitting at about 40 million, and significantly higher than PS4's own reveal event, around 53 million, or even PlayStation's most recent E3 showing in 2018, sitting at 55 million. The figures, which are based on YouTube views from official PlayStation videos, demonstrate the huge demand for new information on Sony's next-gen console. They also show PlayStation can still generate significant engagement without a physical presence at E3, which the platform holder has declined to attend for the past 2 years, and this year's E3 show was eventually canceled due to the pandemic. Growth in internet use, plus social isolation measures caused by the pandemic, will also have factored into PlayStation 5's increased engagement. In its first 4 days, last week's official PS5 livestream video has generated more than 17 million views across 6 language versions. In comparison, PS4's 2013 PlayStation meeting was viewed 3 million times, and its E3 2018 showcase was viewed 2.4 million times. The PS5 hardware reveal video is now PlayStation's second most viewed video ever at 22 million, behind only PS4's 2013 reveal video at 37 million. Across official console platform YouTube channels, only Xbox's Minecraft Village update video and Nintendo's trailers for Switch, Super Mario Odyssey, Switch parental controls, and another for Super Mario Odyssey have been viewed more times than the PlayStation 5's hardware video. According to market intelligence firm DFC, interest for PS5 has far exceeded the rival Xbox Series X, which kicked off a monthly event series in May with an independent games-focused showcase, saying that Sony has big advantages that include better marketing and distribution, a larger built-in audience, and of course, exclusive games. However, the one area where Microsoft is catching up is on the exclusive game front. So the PlayStation 5 game reveal was important because it gives consumers something to get excited about. It added, one measure of how excited an audience is about a new system is how many non-industry consumers contact us about product reveal events. Starting on May 7th, Microsoft will be hosting monthly reveal events. However, the interest we have seen in the Xbox event pales compared with the June 11th Sony event, which may be a reason for Microsoft skipping a June event entirely. So, this is something that is not shocking. Right now, the PlayStation 5 is the hot console that is going to be coming out this holiday season, and Xbox Series X has largely taken a back seat. However, this is not a complete defeat for Xbox Series X. I was talking to people earlier today on Twitter, talking about how there is something in my gut that says July's event is going to be absolutely massive for the Xbox Series X in terms of a showcase of the exclusive games that are going to be coming from the Microsoft Game Studios lineup, or what is now the Xbox Game Studios lineup. That is very exciting to me. I want to see what Microsoft has planned for the Xbox Series X, and I want to see what games are not going to be available in the console space anywhere else, specifically, of course, on the PlayStation 5 or even the Nintendo Switch. That is going to be kind of the make it or break it for at least the first year or two for the Xbox Series X. You need to come out swinging with very strong titles, not just Halo Infinite, not just a new Gears. I need to see new franchises, or I need to see very impressive examples of why I should buy an Xbox Series X on day one. Otherwise, even me, somebody who is an Xbox fan, who also loves PlayStation, if I had to choose right now, it would 100% be a PlayStation 5 on day one as compared to the Series X, and I would love for that to be less of an instantaneous choice for me. I want a reason to fall in love with the new Xbox, just like I have the Xbox One X, now that I've gotten Game Pass and I'm starting to get into that backlog. I'm a big fan of the Xbox library, so I'm hoping for the best, but PlayStation 5, you can't deny, there are already a fantastic slew of incredible exclusives coming to that piece of hardware. And on top of that, many timed exclusives. The timed exclusivity is still yet to be determined for some of these games, but it could be anywhere from a month to 6 months to a year. There are a lot of unanswered questions here that will be answered over the course of the next few months. But now let's talk more about the Xbox Series X dashboard, because it will reportedly be the same as that of the Xbox One, but much faster. This is a story that broke over the weekend, and also that broke my heart. According to some unofficial sources, Xbox Series X will be using the same UI and dashboard in Xbox One with significant improvements in performance. It has been over 6 months since the announcement of the Xbox Series X at the Game Awards 2019, and still there are more to be revealed about Microsoft's next-gen console. While some footage of the new Microsoft Store has been leaked recently with some big changes compared to the current version of the store, it seems that the UI and dashboard of the Xbox Series X will be similar to that of the Xbox One. As Tom Warren, senior editor of The Verge, claims on his new tweet, Xbox Series X will be using the same UI and dashboard that is currently available on Xbox One. According to Warren, there will be some minor changes to add to the new console's unique features to the current design, but generally don't expect a big revolution in how the new UI will look. That said, thanks to the addition of SSDs and Xbox Series X's powerful hardware, the next-gen version of the current UI and dashboard could be significantly faster. While Tom Warren believes that the changes will be minor, Jez Corden from Windows Central claims that the dashboard will be redesigned to look similar to the new Xbox Store. Probably, we won't have a better understanding of these changes until we see them for ourselves in action, which of course the Xbox Series X is supposedly, and right now is, going to launch in holiday 2020, with a couple of events between now and the time that it actually launches. So let's talk about these two pieces of information. Are we going to be getting the Jez Corden reality, where we do have a brand new dashboard, or is it going to be the Tom Warren reality, where it does look like the Xbox One? It needs to have a redesign, and I'll tell you why. It is because the PlayStation 5 interface is a 100% overhaul of PS4 UI, according to a PlayStation executive. The news comes from Matt McLaren, who is Vice President of UX Design at PlayStation. After posting a photo after the PS5 reveal event, McLaren shared new details about Sony's next-gen console while replying to commentators on LinkedIn. Quote, "You'll see our stuff soon," McLaren said of his team's work. A little more pragmative, but a 100% overhaul of PS4 UI and some very different, unique concepts. McLaren also had a lot more to say in other replies. Quote, "Yes, we'll talk quite a bit more after launch," he said when asked if Sony will be offering fans a look into how they redesigned the PS4 interface for PlayStation 5. "It's a very interesting evolution of the OS, more subtle than flashy, but no pixel is untouched. As its UI is practical first, but it's a whole new visual language and a complete re-architecting of the user interface," McLaren also said. "It seems fans can expect a totally different experience to the PS4 user interface with revamped UI features re-architectured from the ground up." After confirming yet again we'll see more of the OS soon, McLaren also spoke to the possibility of PS5 special editions. I'm sure there will be a special edition for everyone," he wrote. "I am hoping for a Horizon Forbidden West special edition," end quote. Of course, many fans have been talking about these special editions that could be possible with the PlayStation 5, but in regards to the UI, the actual interface that people are going to be using on these pieces of hardware, this is why Xbox needs to redesign something. Whenever you go out and you purchase a piece of hardware that is going to be between $500 and $600, you don't expect to plug it into your HDMI port and look, lo and behold, it's the exact same UI on the older piece of hardware. There has to be a new flashy element. Even if it doesn't foundationally change the experience that you get, it still needs to feel like something new. It still has to give that aesthetic of being a new device. That is a necessity. Even if you look at the difference between the PlayStation 3 XMB and the PlayStation 4 media bar, if you want to call it that, these are two very unique menus that both look largely the same, but there is a definitive shift. There is something different about the PlayStation 4's UI that makes it more fluid, that makes it feel futuristic as compared to the PlayStation 3, which in and of itself was an iteration of the PlayStation 2 home screen, which you can feel that in the design. And so with all of these being taken into consideration, the Xbox team really has to bring out something new and flashy to make it seem like it is a brand new piece of hardware, because it is. Although you want to make Xboxes similar to PCs and that they do just exist and you kind of have iterations of them that are going to get multiple SKUs throughout their life, you have to still remember that people look at this like a game console, where you buy something new and it's not just like buying a new Windows 10 laptop, where it is the new laptop with the same user interface on it. That's acceptable. For consoles, that is not, especially going from generation to generation. So with that being said, PS5 interface 100% overhauled for the new generation. On top of that, the Xbox Series X reportedly has the exact same dashboard design, but another industry insider says otherwise. I suppose we will have to see. But Microsoft has outlined smart delivery for the Xbox Series X and given it a bit more detail. In a blog post today, the hardware maker confirmed that titles using smart delivery will not only allow users to buy a game once and play it across both Xbox One and Xbox Series X systems, but that progress will also be saved across systems, including game libraries, progression, and achievements. The system also allows any games that release optimized versions for the Xbox Series X to automatically offer that version for owners of the title on that hardware for no additional cost. Microsoft's smart delivery system is planned for all first-party titles that are being optimized for the Series X, as well as any third-party titles that opt into the system, with the following titles already confirmed: Halo Infinite, Cyberpunk 2077, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Destiny 2, Dirt 5, Scarlet Nexus, Chorus, Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines 2, Yakuza Like a Dragon, The Ascent, Call of the Sea, Gears 5, Second Extinction, and Metal Hellslinger. This is fantastic. I think that right now, in terms of features, Xbox is leading in my mind, because you have Game Pass. On top of that, you have this newly designed console that has the most powerful GPU. It has the SSD that is likely going to be relatively comparable to the PlayStation 5s. And on top of that, you have this smart delivery system that is completely versatile, and it works with the way that you play games. In the official blog post, they give the example of if you have a Series X in your living room and you keep an Xbox One X in your office, you can still simultaneously own both versions of that game, and you can transfer your progress between the two. That is innovation, and that is what I want to see, and I doubt that PlayStation is going to have something to answer to that. I hope they do, but I doubt that they will, because they would have said something by now, surely. But it is good to see that Microsoft is taking the gamer-centric approach. This is something that very well could sell consoles, depending on when people say they're going to be picking up a new piece of hardware. But speaking of new games on new hardware, Star Wars Squadrons is officially revealed, and it's launching on October the 2nd. Star Wars Squadrons has been officially unveiled with a trailer showing off teams of New Republic and Imperial pilots. It's being developed by EA Motif, a team that worked on the vehicle portions of Star Wars Battlefront 2. According to IGN, there is a single-player campaign and a 5v5 multiplayer mode that will have players fighting for either the New Republic's Vanguard Squadron or the Empire's Titan Squadron. If you're picking it up on PC or PS4, you can play it in VR, and you can check out the trailer below. Star Wars Squadrons is set to release on October the 2nd, 2020 for Xbox One, PC, and PS4 at the very reasonable price of $40. Players on all platforms can fly together as there is full crossplay, and the gameplay itself will be revealed at EA Play Live on June the 18th, which is just a few days away. This looks very impressive. Of course, this is all game engine footage, nothing that is being technically played, but it does look like they took the dogfighting out of Star Wars Battlefront 2 and they fleshed it out into its own game, which is something that young me would be absolutely freaking out about. Now, it is worth mentioning that as far as PlayStation goes, any game that is released or at least licensed for publishing, if I remember correctly, after July the 23rd, has to play and be optimized for the PlayStation 5. You have to be able to run it on the next-gen hardware. And so this is going to be on the next gen, and of course, Xbox is fully supporting backwards compatibility as well. Hopefully, this is one that sees enhancements for sure. But this is something that I want to point out as a VR game that is going to change fundamentally the way that people think about VR if it is executed properly. Because right now, in terms of VR, you have a lot of experiences that are worth checking out, but there isn't an experience that is revolutionary. There is nothing out there that is truly just blowing people's minds and convincing them this is something from the future. You have stuff like Beat Saber and you have other smaller games that are similar, but there is nothing out there that is a system seller. At least we haven't seen something like that in a number of years. So with Squadrons, again, if executed properly, it could be that game. It could be the revolutionary experience that sells people on the power of PlayStation VR or even an HTC Vive or a competing headset on PC. But I am very excited to see where this one lands, pun intended, whenever it hits this October on the PS4, the Xbox One, and the PC. I would love to see this one get a bit of an up-res, a bit of some RTX lighting, or I should say ray tracing, on the new generation of consoles. That sounds like something I would be very excited to get my hands on. But Devolver Digital's E3 Direct is coming around mid-July. Devolver Digital was excited about its E3 2020 plans. Unfortunately, like most game publishers, it too was also forced to change those plans. Things have been quiet for a while, but Devolver has now reiterated that its trademark presentation will return this year, sometime in mid-July, assuming no other problems come up. This year's showcase will bring release dates for previously announced games as well as new game reveals. Devolver stressed that all featured games will show off gameplay, which is good news. And so if you do want to check out Devolver's press conference, it is going to be coming. Of course, here is the 2019 press conference, which features the very, very interesting cast and interesting acting from the entire Devolver team. But very impressive stuff that I cannot wait to get back into. They always do a phenomenal job, and Devolver is one of my favorite publishers out there because they are so quirky and strange, and they do it well. That's what they do well. So again, mid-July, you can tune in. Of course, going to be coming on the regular Devolver Digital outlets, or you can follow Devolver Digital. Follow Devolver Digital, there we go, on Twitter if you are interested or so inclined. Resident Evil 8 has had its PS4 version canceled due to development problems. Of course, this also applies to any kind of Xbox One version, but as the dust settles following its reveal at Sony's much-anticipated PS5 event, RE8 is the game on many folks' lips with what its cerebral trailer and cliffhanger ending had in store. Of course, much of what was shown was not exactly unexpected, as we've had numerous leaks the past few months that have pointed us in the direction of a 2021 release: snowy terrain, werewolves, and witches. Though much of these leaks have hit a nail on the head, one such part that's turned out to be false is that the game is cross-generational between that of both PS4 and PS5. Noted horror insider Dusk Gollum has taken to Twitter to offer some context as to why plans seem to have changed at Capcom with regards to RE8's development. So he says, and I quote, "Okay, I got some clarification on why they made RE8 next-gen only when it was cross-gen previously. With the updated graphic fidelity overhaul they're doing still in progress, the way RE8 was designed led to past-gen consoles having a lot of pop-in long texture loads. Load times because the game has you traveling through most of the village and had a lot of zones. Because there is a bigger focus on exploration, this would lead to the last-gen console versions having notable issues, and it was holding back how pretty they could make certain scenes. So they decided to drop the last-gen versions of the game to make it so the game had no loading at all, by, of course, not limiting it to last-gen hardware, and push the graphic overhaul further without the limitations of last-gen tech in mind. What also gives credence to this disparity in the graphical quality and parts of the trailer, most notably, is how some of the characters look. Twitter user Jawmuncher has posted a comparison here which lends weight to the idea. Though it is frustrating for many gamers that Resident Evil 8 won't ship on older systems, it is nice to know Capcom is not going to be hamstrung with inferior hardware, and we can expect its latest RE game will look positively gorgeous. This is the best move you could possibly make. Because if you are sacrificing quality to ensure that the existing player base can play on PS4 and Xbox One, you are limiting the players that are investing early in this hardware. Now, it's hard because there isn't a right answer here, but if you are going to be developing a game that can look better and run better and be better on new hardware, and you have the capability to do so, you should absolutely do it. One example of a game that is perfectly capable of having a cross-generational experience is Destiny 2. The game is old now on current-gen hardware, and it's getting tons of new content in the future. There is also going to be a Destiny 2 on the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5, but it's not a brand new game. It's something that is straddling the old and the new, and that's something that can be accomplished and something that can be fine. But in the world of RE8, if you are limited by the hardware and you know that you can't deliver on the same experience, or at the very worst, you actually sacrifice the quality of the experience for new players, that's something that is completely and totally unacceptable, especially during this first little period of the console generation, because this is when you can really make an impact and you can establish a brand or even a franchise as a title that is exemplary of what a piece of hardware can do, and you can become synonymous with the potential of that hardware. One game that comes to mind is looking at Killzone Shadowfall. Now, does not look that great. When it launched, it looked phenomenal on the PlayStation 4. The lighting was fantastic. Overall, the gameplay looked very stellar. It was a next-gen experience. Now, over time, as I said, it has aged, but it would have looked 10 times worse if that had been something that straddled the PS3 and the PS4. So RE8, PS4, and Xbox One have been canceled. Series X and PS5 live to see another day. But to round out today's show, today's Fortnite event broke Twitch's all-time concurrent viewer record after locking tons of players out of the event itself in-game. Today, Fortnite's off-delayed season-ending device event finally took place, dotting the map with explosions before submerging it beneath the ocean. Over 2 million viewers tuned in on Twitch to watch the sea consume all, a grim preview of the future that also awaits the popular game map we call Earth. This means that Fortnite now once again holds the all-time record for most concurrent viewers on Twitch, but with an asterisk. The event topped out at 2.3 million live viewers across multiple channels on Twitch, according to Twitch's own stats. This surpasses the previous record held by League of Legends, with a hair over 1.7 million viewers during last year's World Championship, the game's biggest annual esports event. League of Legends actually beat Fortnite to take home that honor, narrowly surpassing the Battle Royale Kingpin's 1.7 million during the 2019 Black Hole event that heralded the beginning of the game's second chapter. But Fortnite's latest wave of momentum arose from a storm of abnormal circumstances. Ahead of the device event, Epic announced that in-game space would be limited. A few minutes before it began, the company said on Twitter the game was at capacity, forcing many fans, including Fortnite creative director Donald Mustard, to watch the event unfold on Twitch or YouTube. This annoyed players who logged in expecting to experience Fortnite's latest epochal upheaval firsthand, only to be turned away. After waiting through multiple delays for the event to even occur, they still found themselves stuck on the outside looking in. Perhaps Epic was doing this to ensure that it all went off without a hitch, so as to avoid these sorts of issues that plagued last year's Star Wars event, but YouTube, a much larger platform, also managed to pull 6.1 million players at its peak. So again, 2.3 million on Twitch, 6.1 million on YouTube, and these are just viewers. Overall, this was an incredibly successful event for the guys at Epic Games, and congrats to them as always. Of course, I have no desire of even getting back in or reinstalling Fortnite, but they continue to impress with their live events. Of course, Destiny had one last week, which was very well received, although it was a bit sluggish, some may say. But I think that we're going to look back on these events that are being held in Fortnite and see them as something that is absolutely exemplary when it comes to how you hype up a community. And Fortnite, of course, is going to be cross-generational. It's going to be coming to the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and any other future consoles that I'm sure they can put the game on. But for good reason. It's a good title. It's bringing players back time and time again, and it's really hyping people up with these events and with these new seasons and with map changes. Fortnite is something to behold. Even years and years after its release and its rise to Battle Royale fame, it still continues to blow me away, and I'm not even playing the game. I'm still just very impressed. But that rounds out today's episode of the Jampack Report. If you enjoyed this one, drop me a like down below and let me know what you think about everything we talked about here on today's show. What do you think about the PS5 digital event breaking records, and which one are you going to get right now, the Series X or the PS5? Would love to hear your thoughts. Of course, until tomorrow, you guys have a fantastic rest of your night. I'll talk to you soon, and peace.